Welcome to Wedding 411 On Demand Podcasts. We're filming today at Baldwin Station, and I have with me Alexander Morozov of Photography by Alexander. Welcome, Alexander.
Hello, Karen. Thanks for having me.
Alexander, we know there's many different types of styles in photography. Photojournalism, documentary, candids, portraiture. How do you define your style?
I call it fine art, creative photojournalism. I like to implement a fine art artistic side to the photojournalism, to the candids, to really elevate the wedding photography to the next level. Having timeless pictures, be it with dramatic lighting, architecture, landscape of the place where the couple is having the wedding, adds to the story. Where they'll remember the venue, remember the day in a much better way.
And that's what you're trying to do, capture a succinct story from beginning to end.
Yes, absolutely.
Couples come up to us a lot at wedding shows, and they're overwhelmed with all the different photographers and all the information out there, and they don't know how to choose the photographer that's really going to work the best with them. You came up with a system that's 3 Ps. Can you explain that to all of us?
Yes, 3 Ps, make it easy. First P is portfolio. Yes. When you're looking for a photographer, you are hiring them for their work, for their images. So that portfolio is the first key step. Look at the favorites, that's nice, but also look at one wedding, one event, and see how the photographer was able to capture it from beginning to end. Beginning, the getting ready, look how the family are helping the bride, getting all together. Look for formal pictures, are they natural looking? Do you feel the love? Yeah. And then the party. Look for those fun elements, the action shots, and see if they're there. And if everything is to your liking, look at another wedding by that photographer and see if the quality is consistent.
So that's the portfolio. And the second P is?
Price. We don't have unlimited budgets,
I wish we did.
So don't let the price hold you from talking to the photographer. Let's say you've narrowed down to a couple that you really like. Well, talk to them about how you can customize to really fit your needs. Maybe take away that big enlargement and put it towards an extra hour of coverage or something like that.
So we have portfolio, we have price, and?
Personality.
Huge.
Personality is the key because you're going to spend with the photographer the entire day. It's better to have a friend, in a sense, get to know the photographer. Almost like dating. Take that photographer on a date for a cup of coffee and really figure out if the personality match. If you're an outgoing person, look for that key photographer. If you're more reserved, I think maybe more reserved photographer will be suited for you better.
Because I'm sure it's a two-way street. It's, can the photographer relate to you and capture you and your husband or wife to be, and also how they're going to work with you. It needs to be really a good mix.
Absolutely. And another good test is to do a mini photo shoot, an engagement portrait session.
Sure.
And then see the results.
You don't have to be with a engagement shoot in a contract?
I don't think you have to. I think it's a great way to really test the photographer with an engagement photo shoot and then see the results and then really get to make an educated decision.
Sure. Big studio, multiple photographers versus an independent. Pros, cons?
Well, think about it. The big studio, photographer is just a small portion of the puzzle. And the funds that you allocate for that studio not really trickle down. Well, it's only a small portion that trickles down to the photographer. So it's like having your kid in a kindergarten or having your baby taken care of. Well, when you're dealing with a small studio, each wedding is like your baby.
Yes.
And you get personal attention, you get utmost care and love when you have a small studio or independent photographer versus big one.
Plus, if you go into a studio and you see beautiful photography on the walls and it turns out that's not the photographer you're going to have that day, there's a little bit of a disconnect there too.
Yeah, at least with the small studios, you are meeting with the photographer, you are looking at their portfolio and possibly having an engagement photo shoot.
Black and white, color, spot color, what do you recommend?
Stick with the classic. Spot color is a trend, similar to in the 70s where you have that big heavy vignettes.
Sure.
It will fade away and it will date the pictures.
Yeah.
If you stick with classy, black and white or sepia or even color, I think you're on the right track.
Black and white, I think, always draws out the emotions to me. That's just my personal preference. How far do you reach out to? Just Baltimore?
Baltimore, metro area, DC, Northern Virginia, and Karen, if you ask me to go to Fiji, my team and I will go there.
And I'll go with you.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Thank you for joining us today,
Thank you, Karen.
Alexander. And thank you for joining Wedding 411 On Demand podcasts.